Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and to another, already lost it, Money Management Monday. Today's video is a very awkward sitting one. No, not really. Today I really want to talk about how you can use the stimulus check to the best of your, to the fullest. Okay, let's talk about a really good way to use this stimulus check. Money doesn't grow on trees. This has to come from somewhere, and let's have a little economic lesson. There is no cash. It's not backed up by anything. This cash is not backed up by anything. Our money system used to work in that a dollar represented a certain amount of gold or silver. It no longer works that way. I recently had this illustration with another family, and I'm going to use it here because I could not get people to understand this. So, how money works. Imagine money, imagine a bank. Now we're going to have a piece of paper right here that says you are going to go to work for Jones Company. And in Jones Company, they have a revenue of $1 million. So now we're going to write on this paper, revenue $100 or $1 million from Jones Company. The Jones Company has an employee that they need to pay. That will be you. The employee that Jones Company needs to pay is $40,000. So I'm going to subtract $40,000 from $1 million, and I'm going to write it into the Jones Company section here on the paper, or Jones Company account. Now, Jones account has things that they need to pay, like mortgage, utilities, and things. So we're just going to subtract that from the amount that they have in their bank. But let's go back to Jones Company, not Jones employee, Jones Company. So we've had $40,000 subtracted from the million. Now Jones Company also needs to pay for the equipment they use, the building they use, and we're going to just start subtracting all of these things. Remember, you have monopoly money right in front of you. You have a bank and you have your monopoly money. Not one time has cash ever changed hands in this transaction. It all was subtracted from this sheet of paper. If Jones employee decides, you know what, I need to withdraw my cash from the bank, and the bank says, sir, you have 10 grand in your account that you can withdraw in cash. Well, if Jones did that, first of all, I don't know what banks have that kind of cash on hand to just give like that without shorting themselves. But this is kind of what happened with the stock market crash of the Great Depression. It wasn't just the stock market crash, that's what we call it. It was actually when many people saw this financial thing happening, and they ran to the banks. And they were trying to withdraw money that just simply wasn't there, because that paper, we're just moving numbers around. Not once did we handle cash until we decided that we wanted some cash. If our whole economic system is built on something like that, and we're just moving numbers around, so stimulus check, okay, we'll just write in a number, and we need to print more cash out now because now we have said that there is more cash out available. Well, what we're going to have is called inflation. Inflation just isn't when prices go up. Inflation, it means that the amount of cash that we have has decreased in value because there's so much of it. Back in Roman times, and I don't remember the time period, but ancient Rome, people were using wheelbarrows to go buy bread. There was just so much of this useless money that it took a whole lot of it to buy bread. And I think that's one reason why our government is trying to go to a cashless system. But all it is that you're just moving numbers. With a stimulus check, that has to come out of something. We don't just print money and make things better. It starts having a trickle effect somewhere. That is how economic systems have worked for centuries. And this is a very simple history economic lesson here. Very simple, very broken down. So with your stimulus check, I've had a couple people say, well, I'll probably turn around and invest it. Okay. You know, they don't need it, so let's just invest it and kind of prepare for the future. Okay, so again, we're back to the stock market. You invest it in something, even if you go somewhere safe and say something like mutual funds, you're still banking on our current system. Pun intended. So here is my suggestion in what to do with our stimulus checks. It will affect us somehow, some way. Later on, I don't know how. I'm not that good of an economist that can do data and analysis and all of this other stuff. But it will affect us somehow. My opinion or my suggestion in this is to actually go back to the very first video I did, which is how I budget, and kind of follow that principle. Try as much as you can to live off your stimulus check. If you are a couple, you should be getting, I think, $1,200. Try to live off of that. Try to meet your bills off of that and just simply live off of that. If you have anything in savings, go ahead and do that. Don't focus on paying off debt. Don't focus on anything else. Just the bills. As you know, we have not been living at $1,200. We have been living almost at $2,000. So there would be like an $800 deficit there. So I'm really hoping that you have kids that can kind of bring in some cash to complete this. But I don't know your finances. But what I'm saying is try your hardest to only meet the bills and only pay, you know, and live as small as possible. Do a pantry challenge. Do whatever it takes to just live as small as you can and just on your stimulus for 1 month. And yes, I know what that looks like. It's what, $3.65 a day or something like that. I don't remember. But anyway, so do that. And then every time you get a paycheck this month in January, write it down like I've been sharing. Set that money aside. Don't spend it. Don't use it insofar as possible. When February comes around, you'll start budgeting February's expenses with January's paychecks. And then you'll start being 1 month ahead going forward. So when something happens, at least you'll have something ahead. It's interesting. I've been watching a lot of depression documentaries, and you know, a lot of these kind of show how people lived and survived during this time, you know, with the smallest meals and things like that. There was a common thread throughout all of them that I found really interesting. I wasn't paying it, those kinds of things I'm really interested in. But the things I was paying more close attention to was who was successful during this time. And a lot of it was mortgage companies. Okay, I actually want to fix that. What I meant was people that did loans. So like mortgage companies, loan sharks, and so on and so forth. That's, I wanted to clarify that. They would foreclose. They weren't able to sell or anything, but now they had a lot of real estate. And that's when larger income people were able to come in and kind of take it and so on and so forth. But people with the smaller income families, they were losing their homes. What we have differently today than what we don't necessarily have to then is that usually everybody has a mortgage. Back then it was cash, and then it was property taxes that maybe they couldn't meet. So that would be my next thing going forward. The stimulus check, live off of that, try to get ahead of expenses. Now let's start paying off debt, getting the house paid off as quickly as possible. By the way, here's a little history lesson for you, or economic or government or whatever. You never really own your home, and you never really own your car. If you don't believe me on this, try not paying your taxes. That's because coming up with tax money is $2,000 a year versus $2,000 every few months. So let's try to just make our lives a little bit easier. This is why I'm trying to pay off houses. Like, there's just so many little components of why I'm so focused on paying off that house. There's all these little things. Okay, let me see if I can finish the last 30 seconds here. Okay, so I know I'm like really adamant about trying to pay off your home. There is reasons for that. So please focus on that. What do you need? I have a lot I gotta cut out. Okay, so this is kind of funny. I am sitting here making this video about it. I have no idea when our stimulus stuff will arrive, and they just brought in the mail, and guess what's in the mail? Okay, Lord, I'm going to take that as a sign this is supposed to be the video that goes out today. Okay, well, I know I keep pushing pay off your house as quickly as possible, pay off any debts. There really is a purpose behind that, and it really amounts to there is so much freedom in that, and we work hard for what we have. And I'm going to throw in a little bit of minimalism here. I'm trying to wrap this up, and here I am. I'm going to throw another thing. I left that other room because everybody was in there, and now everybody's in here. So, hashtag mom life. One of the things that really, again, there's so many components of minimalism, and you're probably like, minimalism, finances, where is this going? There's so many components of minimalism, but one of them, I just keep thinking of more reasons why minimalism just is a good fit for me. And another one is we work so hard for what we have. So hard. I don't want to put that into something that's only going to spark joy for 6 months, a year, or 2, when I could have used that money to just really help us for a longer period of time. I'm not a Christian that's so focused on waiting for Christ's return that I don't prepare for a full life. I don't know when he is returning. There are many that think he is on his way now, but honestly, if you read every single faithful patriarch in every century, they truly believe that was the century that Christ had returned. And so I don't want to just live day to day to day without any preparations for the future, because I don't know, and God has put us on this earth. I don't store up my treasures here on earth, so if something was to collapse and if life is to collapse, it's like, okay, well then we just start up from scratch. It's like, this, God knew this was going to happen. We're just going to keep on going, continuing. I know, so easy for me to say, right? But I have that mindset still. Like, my daughter just went through a heart surgery, and we had a chaplain come talk to us, and he was just like, but, and we were just like, we're thankful for modern medicine. We are so thankful, and it's astounding what we can do now. But my daughter's days were preordained before she was born. So I can't change the outcome of if this is going to be successful or not. I have nothing to do with that. That's all God. And I think that's how, in financial aspects, it is what it is. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to prepare for it. It's kind of like that person that's drowning. He's waiting for God. He's waiting for God. God sends a boat. God sends this. He gets up to him and he's like, God, why didn't you help me? He's like, I sent you all this stuff. What do you mean? It's kind of that in the sense of financial. I'm waiting for Christ's return, but I still have to live. So with our daily finances and the things that we work hard for, I'm looking at it as a way of Proverbs when it says, a godly man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. That doesn't sound like something of, I'm just waiting to live here and now. So wanted to address that. Minimalism kind of has really opened my eyes to, hey, I want to live a good life right now, but even more so, I want to leave an inheritance for my children's children and help them. And we have an opportunity now with this stimulus check, for as high of a cost that it is for us to have. I'll take it, and for me, I'll just be looking at ways to help our family with this, but also think about the winter that's coming. I mean, I'm here in January and it's pretty wintry right now, but winter comes again. What am I going to need to be prepared for later on that I have the ability to do so now? So here is the what not to do with your stimulus check and what I would encourage you to do. I hope this video was helpful for our Money Management Monday. Crazy things happening on in the background, but I wanted to get this done and so I could get it edited and up for you today. This week will be a little bit different with our scheduled postings, because I will be posting the grocery haul and what we ate in a week in one video coming up Thursday or Wednesday. Thursday. And that's just because, you know, life happened and filming didn't happen as much as I really wanted it to, but that's okay. Thank you for watching. And if you have any topics that you would like me to address on this matter, just go ahead and leave it down below. I'm just accumulating some and then filming them as I have time, whatever that looks like. I'll see you next time.